Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mega Man 9 Extras video. As a game that came out in 2008, you would of course expect this game to have achievements, or challenges as they like to call them. I have 40% of them here, but on my Wii version I actually have a lot more of them unlocked. Basically doing special things would give you these achievements, like in any video game, clear the game without a continue, or collect 999 screws, beat the game 30 times, beat the game once a day for 5 days. That's a weird one. This game has some pretty weird challenges, or achievements, whatever the hell you want to call them. But they're there, and you can do them if you want. Or you can just go your own way and say, hey, I played Mega Man 9, I'm happy with my experience, I don't need to do all these challenges, because, it's my game, I can do what I want. I can extract my own value from it. But they're there, and there are many, so feel free to do with that extra as you wish. Something a little bit more nifty and a little bit more befitting a game that's calling back to the retro 1980s, ooh, remember the 1980s, is a game manual. Obviously the game never had a physical release, but the developers still wanted to, give you the feeling of playing a game from the 1980s, so they made a nice, colorful, detailed game manual, like the ones you would get back in the day, giving you details on essentially everything. I mean, they don't tell you how to beat the game, but they give you every single bit of important information, which is a far cry from what game manuals do nowadays, which is just, fucking warranty information. It's stupid. I mean, here, look, you can see what all the weapons do. It's great. It's wonderful. It's retro. It does what this game's supposed to do, so no complaints on the game manual front. You can look at it if you want, you can just jump right into the game. It's there for you. Something particularly cool is the time attack mode. Essentially, pick any stage you want, you can replay for the best time, you can replay it to practice the stage, to practice the boss. You have to unlock the Wily Castle stages by beating the game once, but it essentially mitigates the complaint I had in other Mega Man games about how you can't refight bosses anytime you want, or practice stages / bosses anytime you want. This pretty much fixes that. I keep this in because I finally redeemed myself and beat the yellow and green devil blobs in one go, and very quickly too, so I'm very happy with how this turned out. That's why I kept it in. Time attack is great. This is a great addition to the Mega Man series. I'm glad that 10 keeps this. Finally get to show these stupid blobs who's boss. It's not that fucking difficult, and this time I finally prove it. I get hit a couple of times, sure, but I finally beat this thing like I was supposed to the first time. I don't know why I even fucked up that great the first time anyway. If you want to see that, shameless plug, you can check out part 3 of my Mega Man 9 Let's Play. And jump, and jump, and and you get to see your record and compare it to other people's. So that's great. By the way, anytime you're in a stage, you can press the select button or the equivalent to the select button, and you are able to exit the game or view your challenges or your rankings or the game manual. This applies to the regular mode as well. But now, let's tackle the first major piece of DLC that we're going to be looking at for Mega Man 9. That's a special stage. There is one special stage for Mega Man 9. It stars Fake Man. We don't see a little introduction for him like we do for all the other Robot Masters, but the Robot Master for this stage is Fake Man, Dr. Wily's police robot. The fake police robot that he used to, quote-unquote, arrest Dr. Light. We saw them briefly in the Mega Man 9 Let's Play. There were a couple of them protecting Dr. Light in Dr. Wily's castle after you beat Wily. They escaped with Wily, both of them. And we saw one very briefly in part 1. Yeah, in part 1. We saw one very briefly as it arrested Dr. Light. And now we get to actually fight it. Not a terribly difficult boss. Not a terribly difficult stage. It's a very long stage. This is a good stage. I like it. But it does have that mentality of throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it. Like, it doesn't really have its own theme, you know, the stage. And you know what? It shouldn't. The stage is essentially just a glorified Super Wily Castle stage. But instead of fighting a Wily machine or a special Wily robot at the end of the stage, you're gonna fight a Robot Master. A special Robot Master, but a Robot Master. The stage operates like a Wily stage in that there is no clear theme except, you know, the background's a city. But the enemies come from every single stage. We saw enemies from Magma Man's stage. We're seeing enemies that appear in most stages. We're gonna see mini-bosses that appear in a variety of stages. Here's Hornet Man's mini-boss, but then later on we're also gonna fight Magma Man's mini-boss. This is also one of the I think it's the only stage in the series that has two bosses. Two actual bosses in the stage. One of them you'll recognize immediately, and the other one's Fake Man. Well, one of them you'll recognize if you saw my part 3 of Mega Man 9. Shameless plug again. But see, here's Jewel Man's mini-boss. The stage is just one long, glorified gauntlet, and it's not bad. Good music. It's still fun, because, you know, Mega Man 9 was designed very well, and it doesn't matter if you throw all of it at once, it's still gonna be fun and a good time. But ultimately, the stage does suffer a little bit for not having a clear theme or a clear set of unique enemies exclusive for the stage. Again, it doesn't need that. This is a DLC. It's just extra stuff. So if they just wanted to throw all this stuff together and just make a stage, then, you know, that's their prerogative. They can do that. And you can do that too now that Mega Man Maker is released and people can actually play it. I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to. I'm looking forward to actually trying that out. See, here's Magma Man's mini-boss now. Stupid dragon. Here's him right. And like most Wily Castle stages, this is a stage that benefits from you pretty much constantly switching out your special weapons. Again, it's a gauntlet, so of course you're going to be switching out all your special weapons all the time in this stage. I should also mention, for time attack stages, you do have access to every single one of your special weapons. So if you're practicing a stage, let's say, for example, you're practicing Concrete Man stage, but you are unable to beat Concrete Man with just your Mega Buster, don't worry, because you can practice a stage, but still have the satisfaction of beating Concrete Man with the Laser Trident. So it's not bad. Not bad at all. Mega Man 9 is Very well done game. Oh, but here we go. Oh my goodness, it's the fucking Shark Tank, not the show, but the boss from Wily 2. Exactly the same as he was in the end of Wily 2's stage. Still weak to Laser Trident, Phase 1 and Phase 3, and Phase 2 technically, but Phase 2 you want to use the Magma Bazooka. Seriously though, 2 bosses in one stage. Kinda overkill? Yeah, kind of overkill, but I can't complain too much. I mean, because you have access to all your special weapons, this isn't that difficult. And because you're probably playing this after you've beaten the main campaign, you probably already know what this thing's weakness is. And because of the way the stage is designed, you probably haven't been using Laser Trident or Magma Bazooka yet, so you're still going to have full bars of Laser Trident and Magma Bazooka, so overall, you're not going to have that much of a problem fighting this thing. It's just pretty silly that you gotta fight this thing and then be expected to continue with more stage and then fight the actual boss of the stage. It's silly. And actually, we're almost done with the stage. I say you have to keep going on with more stage. It's literally just this screen. This screen, and then that's it. You're at the boss. By the way, this screen is the perfect place to rest up. Use Jewel Satellite like you did in Wily 1 in that special spot, and just refill on your weapon energy and your health, specifically your health. Make sure you have a full bar of Jewel Satellite. For obvious reasons, that's Fake Man's weakness. I mean, it's not obvious why that's his weakness, but the reason why you want a full bar of Jewel Satellite is obvious. That is Fake Man's weakness. You want to make sure you have plenty of that. And yeah, fun stage. Not that unique, it's essentially just a glorified Wily Castle stage, but not bad regardless. Not bad at all. So, without further ado, let's run in the hall and take on Fake Man. It's a long stage too, Jesus Christ, 6 minutes, but a lot of that time was just me refilling my weapon energy and my health. But whatever, it's time to fight Fake Man. Fake Man jumps around and shoots. He's essentially just like Mega Man. His weakness is Jewel Satellite. You can either throw it at him, you can use it to deflect his buster shots back at him. And yeah. Be careful though, because you are going to run out of Jewel Satellite long before he dies. He's still going to have a lot of health before he actually dies. He's going to make sure you waste your Jewel Satellite before you can actually kill him with it. Essentially, he keeps running back and forth towards you, forcing you to, waste a Jewel Satellite usage, which you could have used to deflect more buster shots, but because Fake Man just keeps running at you until he hits you, and because Jewel Satellite's not going to let that happen, he's essentially always going to get that hit in and drain the Jewel Satellite weapon energy bar. Once that happens, just, dodge his shots, shoot him, you're probably still going to have more health than he does. Overall, Fake Man is difficult, much more difficult than your average Robot Master, but not impossible. Now let's move on to the Endless Attack Mode. Here's the explanation for Endless Attack Mode. I like it. I really like Endless Attack Mode. I don't do a good job here because I'm just showing it off. Essentially, just survive. Go through as many screens as you can. Get past as many obstacles as you can. Eventually you're going to fight some Robot Masters. It's random when you actually fight Robot Masters. But yeah, this is really fun. Just survive in unique new environments, fighting enemies that you've been fighting this entire time so you know how to fight them. It's a good challenge. It's a good challenge in the same way that Fake Man's stage was a good challenge, in that it's, throwing everything in the kitchen sink at you, but in this one it's a much more controlled, throwing everything in the kitchen sink at you, whereas Fake Man just do everything you all at once over the course of a few screens. This, this peppers it out. This peppers it out. You got ice physics here with some met tools. Before you had Splash Woman stuff with the tentacle monsters, the robotic tentacle monsters. There's gonna be some lava later on. Eventually you're gonna have to fight Robot Masters. It's good. It's a good time. It's a good time. No complaints. There's a reason why this appears again in Mega Man 10 and Mega Man Unlimited, a fan game. But, you know, that's it. There's nothing more to say about the Endless Attack mode. It's fun, it's a good time, good extra. Time to move on. Ah, yes. Probably my favorite extra besides the special stage. The special stage is good, but I really like this too. Proto Man Mode. Another bit of DLC. You don't have this initially when you start the game. You have to buy this. Play the game as Proto Man. The entire game. All 8 Robot Master stages, all 4 Wily Castle stages. You can't fight Fake Man with Proto Man, unfortunately. And you can't do Endless Attack with Proto Man. But you can do the main campaign, minus the cutscenes. There's no cutscenes when you're playing as Proto Man. It's just straight running through all the castle stages, all the Robot Master stages, until you're done. That's it. It's a good time, though. Unlike Mega Man, Proto Man can charge his Buster, and he can slide. He has a limit of 2 shots per screen, whereas Mega Man has a limit of 3 shots per screen. That's why it's easier to provide covering fire as Mega Man than as Proto Man. Because Proto Man has such a limited number of shots that's allowed on screen, you have to be very careful and very purposeful of where you aim your shots. Again, he has his Charge Buster. Not the Charge Buster like Mega Man has in Mega Man 5, 6, 7, 8, and Base. He has it like he does in Mega Man 4, so it's narrow, doesn't do as much damage as you'd expect, but it's good. He also has a shield. You already saw it in action against that turret. It can deflect most pellet shots. It can deflect a lot of things. I don't know the full list of things it can deflect, but it can deflect a lot of shit. That shield is very, very powerful and very useful to have because Proto Man actually takes double damage. Proto Man also starts with the Proto Jet and the Proto Coil. He uses his shield as both a jet and as the equivalent of Rush Coil. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Proto Man takes double damage. He's the prototype Robot Master. He's overall weaker than Mega Man, unfortunately. Again, not as many shots on the screen. But thanks to his Charge Buster, his slide, the pros and cons kind of, even each other out, Overall, it is more difficult to play as Proto Man than as Mega Man, but having that charge shot and that slide does feel pretty good, so even though you aren't taking double damage, even though you can only have a limited number of shots on screen, it's a good time to play as Proto Man. It's a different kind of challenge. It's a very good challenge. And very welcome. This is probably my favorite extra of the game. Stages are layered exactly the same as they are in Mega Man 9's regular campaign. And bosses operate exactly the same in this mode as they do in Mega Man 9's main campaign when playing as Mega Man. So, don't expect things to be any easier or any more difficult. They are exactly the same as they were in Mega Man 9, so if you're good at playing the game as Mega Man and have mastered a whole bunch of the layouts and Robot Master patterns, then you'll probably be okay as Proto Man. Again, this is DLC, so you probably played the entire game as Mega Man first, and are now only just playing as Proto Man, so you already have a good idea of how to play the game. You already have a good idea of how everything works, so for an extra fun, different challenge, that's Proto Man Mode. Proto Man also does collect Robot Master powers, just like Mega Man does. They are exactly the same as Proto Man than as Mega Man. So, you're not getting anything different when it comes to the powers. Concrete Shot still does what it does, Black Hole Bomb does what it does, Hornet Chaser does what it does, etc., 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 etc. That's Proto Man Mode. Really fun, a really good time. You can also save your game when playing as Proto Man, so there you go. Another way to play the campaign, minus the story. But it's Mega Man, so who cares about the story, right? Time to move on. My least favorite extra of Mega Man 9. It's about time I explain that. Okay. Hero Mode and Superhero Mode. Essentially, Hard Mode and Extra Hard Mode, or Super Hard Mode, if you will. It's an artificial difficulty spike. I usually enjoy playing games in their most difficult settings. By the way, on the lower right corner, you're going to see the comparison between Hero Mode and regular mode. I know a lot of games are designed with normal mode in mind, and hard mode is kind of an afterthought. But usually I like playing games in hard mode, in the hardest difficulty settings. In the hardest natural difficulty settings that developers decided would be difficult enough, yet not too difficult enough to rage quit over in most cases. Mega Man 9's hard mode and extra hard mode, which is DLC by the way, you have to pay for hard mode and extra hard mode, rings false to me. In that, essentially, the difficulty here is fake. How do I explain? Okay. Let me compare this with Mega Man 10's hard mode, because I think Mega Man 10's hard mode is fantastic, and I'm going to play the game in Mega Man 10's hard mode. It's going to be, as you'd expect, hard as balls. But I'm looking forward to it, because that's going to be a good time, that's going to be fun. The reason why I don't want to play the game, this game, Mega Man 9, in Hero Mode and Superhero Mode, it's just tacked on. Essentially, none of the enemies behave any differently, but there are more of them placed in more positions. That's it. Some of the gimmicks are moved around a little bit. And, you know, bosses operate exactly the same in this game, in Hero Mode and Superhero Mode, as they do in the normal campaign mode. It's just... it's just fake. It's just... I don't know how to explain it that well. Some things are cool. I do enjoy how they move the teleporting hatches around to force you to find a different way through. That's cool. That's fun. That's kind of unique. That's what Mega Man 10 does a lot of. But Mega Man 10 also makes enemies more difficult. And, you know, it's not always, you know, in the most creative ways. In some ways, they just make enemies more difficult by making them move faster. Or, in some cases, they give them extra attacks. But, I mean, this. You're seeing this right here. And, you know, I got special music playing, but I want to talk over it because it's kind of driving home my point. Bosses operate exactly the same in Mega Man 9 Hero Mode and Superhero Mode as they do in normal mode. That just kind of tells you that the game is not meant to be played this way. That if you want an extra challenge, sure, you know, go ahead and play it. It's not like this invalidates your Mega Man 9 experience. It's just, this was not the way the game was designed, not the way the game was meant to be played. Your special weapons, by the way, are exactly the same in Hero Mode and Superhero Mode as compared to the normal mode. But moving things around, making sections impossible without certain special weapons, it just doesn't ring true. And I know I'm rambling and probably not making too much sense, but if you get Mega Man 9, you know, you don't have to play the game in Hero Mode and Superhero Mode. Nothing's stopping you from playing the game in these modes, but nothing's really compelling you to do so. Playing in Proto Man Mode is a joy, because the thing that's compelling you to play in Proto Man Mode is you get to play as Proto Man, as another mainline Mega Man character, and that's fun and exciting and cool. Although you'll notice Proto Man Mode, Proto Man is playing through the games as they were originally designed in normal mode, not in Hero Mode or Superhero Mode. Whereas in Mega Man 10, you can play as Proto Man in hard mode. That tells you that the game, hard mode, was designed to be beaten, to still be fair in some regard in Mega Man 10. Whereas in Mega Man 9, Hero Mode and Superhero Mode were designed to just bust your balls every single chance they had. And that's not a bad thing, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but there's a reason why this is DLC in Mega Man 9, and why hard mode isn't unlockable. That you get to only beat the game once. in normal mode in Mega Man 10. There's a reason why hard mode is already available from the beginning in Mega Man 2, even though that's technically Japanese as normal mode, but we're not going to get into that. The reason is because the games were designed with those difficulties in mind. Whereas this game clearly did not have a hard mode difficulty in mind when it was being created. It's why that hero mode and superhero mode are not really that great, in my opinion. If you enjoy them, more power to you, but, you know, it's not the way the game was meant to be played, unfortunately. However, they do fix this next time for Mega Man 10, so, you know, lesson learned. What am I even complaining about? This bit here is a bitch. It's possible to do it without Rush Jet, but you should really have Rush Jet. Otherwise, you're just gonna die. This, by the way, is the this coming up is the game over. I didn't show it off in the main playthrough, so I figured I'd show it off now. Speaking of unnecessarily showing things off from the main playthrough, it's time for the final section. The most unnecessary section of them all, but I'm still going to show it. I'm going to show it because I've done it for every other Mega Man game, and, you know, you got to answer the age-old question. What happens when you revisit a Robot Master stage? Well, you don't get the introduction. That's different. And when you reach the Robot Master room, by the way, you saw earlier that I pressed the select button to access the menu with the challenge list and the next of the game and all that stuff. You don't get to refight Robot Masters. Again, that's mitigated by the fact that, you know, you have time attack now, so not bad, but still a question that had to be answered in my mind. Now let's go over the shop. We have lives, E-tanks, mystery tanks, eddy calls, beat calls, the weapon energy converter, the half damage taker, the spike attacher that doesn't kill you machine, roll in different clothes, and a book of hairstyles. That's what I'm going to call everything. You already know what most of these things do. You already saw the mystery tanks in action. You've seen E-tanks in most Mega Man games. You've seen lives in every Mega Man game. You've seen Eddie in Mega Man 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. You've seen Beat, although we're going to be seeing how Beat operates, because Beat's very, very different in this game compared to other Mega Man games. You've already seen what the weapon energy converter thingy-majiggy that costs 100 bolts, bottom left, does during my playthrough of the Wily Castle in Part 3 of Mega Man 9, shameless plug. But I'm going to show some of this stuff off anyway, because, you know, I didn't show it off during the main playthrough, and I figured might as well see what all this shit does, right? It's very cheap, the items in the shop. Not all of them. That thing that costs 200 bolts, we'll talk about that. It's about as stupid as you think it is. But by the way, in the bottom you're seeing Roll actually describe all this stuff properly, rather than my rambling, so if you want to see all this stuff though, just, you know, rewind the video a little bit and just read everything that Roll's saying. For now though, let's actually show all this stuff off. In Galaxy Man stage, my go-to show-off stage. We're going to start off with the Eddy Call. Essentially, he does what he does in Mega Man 4 through 6. He comes down directly in front of you and gives you a whole series of items. Sometimes they're health, sometimes it's weapon energy, sometimes it's lives, sometimes it's E-tanks, and then he goes away. And that's it. Okay, Shock Guard. Hit spikes, you don't get hurt at all. One free hit, and then you die. You keep that Shock Guard for you the entire time you're in the stage. After you finish the stage, no more Shock Guard. Beat. Basically, anytime you fall down a pit, Beat will rescue you, as opposed to what he does in other games, where he gives you a shield to take extra damage. Nope, now he saves you from bottomless pits. Book of Hairstyles. Mega Man looks as he does at the end of Mega Man 4. And it's pretty great. You can buy your helmet back for 20 bolts, or you can, just leave it off. You can also buy alternate outfit for Roll. Now she looks as she does in Mega Man 8. She will look like this for every single cutscene in the game. Useless, but if you want a different look, go ahead and buy it, I guess. Now, the Book of Hairstyles. Besides making Mega Man look cool, for having his helmet off, it does one other thing. One other thing that may turn you off from it, or may make you want to have have Mega Man without his helmet even more. Mega Man takes double damage, like Proto Man without his helmet. So, if you want the extra challenge, go ahead and buy Mega Man's hairstyle. You can buy your helmet back for 20 bolts. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're done. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.